Travalgar Vallertine again, or the Art of Valor. Coming with another video today, finishing off this doodle. How's everything going? Is it going okay? You drawing as well and having a nice time? Today I was going to tell you about telepathy that I've been listening to about with Rupert Sheldrake for a little bit, and thought it'd be an interesting idea to talk about. He started off doing telepathy because there was no particular evidence to base it on. It was an evidence-free scientific zone, because it's one of those scientific ideas that aren't allowed to get any funding, because it's classed as superstitious before any evidence has even been concluded. Rupert Sheldrake came up with some interesting scientific ideas to test telepathy, from when one of his colleagues showed him an experiment that had some significant results that convinced him of it. Beforehand, he had the typical dogmatic idea that there's no evidence for it and there was no point in even considering it. But the way Rupert Sheldrake tested it first was by animals, and how they understood when the owners were coming home, as well as cats as well, and various other mammals, lambs, geese, all sorts of interesting things, interesting mammals. As the word telepathy means, tele, which means distant, and empathy, which means emotion, distant emotion, and as animals are based primarily on their consciousness on emotion, and that's all that's really controlling them, kind of makes sense for this to be a communicational device for them to actually communicate around the world. I spoke previously of morphogenic fields and memory and other sorts of fields and stuff, so this could be classed as a form of telepathy. And Rupert Sheldrake asked people to actually comment, do they actually remember the animals know exactly when the owner's coming home. About 20 minutes before they arrive to the home, the pet's already up waiting at the window. And even when Sheldrake tested it by following a camera on the dog constantly, and then randomly selecting a time, calling up the woman to come back home on a completely different taxi, the dog somehow still knew that she was coming home. And I bet I even have experienced that with the little dog we have around here, where he knows exactly when my girlfriend's coming home, and about 20 minutes before she gets here, or when she decides she wants to leave, I presume, he gets up and just waits by the door sometimes and squeaks. And by following the dog and the woman at the same time, they understood that there was no strings attached at all. The dog couldn't have possibly heard the woman that far away, or no noises really, or smells or anything. Different taxi each time, different place, different times. This is also done by cats as well, but they're not too fussed with humans. They haven't got that much of an emotional bond. They become quite stubborn creatures. And other tests, like with Alex the parrot, who can remember 1500 words, including even sentences as well, could read the owner's thoughts, even when they put the parrot in a separate room. And she picked out random cards in small envelopes with objects on them. The parrot in the opposite room had no communication or contact with the owner, started forming sentences around the cards. So for a telephone, the parrot would say, "Get off the phone," and things. The parrot knew exactly what she was thinking before she even did it. That's weird. There's an outside force that tells pets about us that we can't even control. So, where does this leave us? I mean, when you think about it, do the pets do what they do because they're controlled by something we don't even know? What does your dog know, or does your cat know about you? Just because they can't talk doesn't mean that they don't think about things. And just because you might leave them inside with no communication doesn't matter where you are. They know where you are and what you're doing. That's just interesting to think about. And Sheldrake extended this idea to humans by, I mean, obviously, once this evidence was based, I mean, there was some skeptics saying that the dog must have been able to heard, or there was some secret whistles and stuff like that, but it was all proven wrong, and showing these cameras and these graphs and results and stuff. I'll put a link to the lecture that I saw. It's quite fascinating, about the evolution of telepathy, about his research and how he based it on stuff. But I think it's a idea that needs to be extended a lot further out there. People say there's no evidence of telepathy and psychic technology and all that other stuff, but Sheldrake has some interesting evidence that could really extend that. And the more we know and the more we understand, I mean, can you imagine if the whole world kind of took this into consideration? Can you imagine the factories and companies coming up with telepathy kind of machines that could even transport even messages even more deeper? You never know. You never know what happens, but still. Can you imagine if there's a new internet craze that kind of stimulated telepathy or morphogenic fields and stuff? I mean, these ideas that Sheldrake's come up with, and a few of the people who are bringing up pseudoscientific ideas to light with real scientific evidence, they're the ones in the future that will have a greater impact on a lot of these modern day technologies and stuff. Not just because the ideas themselves will actually change it, but the fact that the extension of what people are considering to be legitimate science is growing further and further. People are saying that the universe is actually expanding, which I don't have no idea really about or anything. Pseudoscientific ideas will slowly stretch out as well, and the dogma that holds all this together will eventually start to crumble and break down. There's nothing you can really do to stop it. I mean, the greatest idea will win, and if there's new pseudoscientific ideas that are proven to be actually correct, greater and greater accuracy, it's an idea that will soon just completely crumble everything else. I mean, if someone's got the scientific evidence to prove a pseudoscientific idea correct, I mean, what are you going to do about it? I mean, Sheldrake has got some ideas that you can even test at home. I might do a separate lecture on that one as well, separate talk. But yeah, it's just a good idea to think about. Yeah, I was saying, sorry, I was waffling a bit. Extended it to humans before by using telephone tests or texts and emails, various communicational devices, where they would have a telephone by them being filmed with no ID identification caller, and call up someone, and before they could answer they have to kind of guess who's actually calling them. And again, with the stronger emotional bond, it proves a further accuracy to be able to guess who is actually calling them. And distance doesn't really take any consideration either, so you would be able to know who is actually calling you from far, far away from Australia and stuff like that, especially if you have emotional bond to them. So it kind of puts a hypothesis: how far would it really go, and could humans from other star systems actually communicate to us without actually us realizing? You just never know. But it's fun to open your mind and just think about it. And same works for emails addresses, where they would have to try and guess who's sending the email and stuff like that. Separate rooms being filmed, for scientific reasons. And I think the results proved like at least 25% up to 50% depending on the result of the person. But I mean, even 1% is going to actually prove something is actually there. I mean, a lot of scientists base everything on averages. If something happens 1,000 times but fails twice, they don't take the 2 times it actually failed into consideration and just consider it they're not particularly relevant to the results. But the fact that I did actually want to change twice proves that there is something different about the sequence of the test that we're actually trying to perform. Oh, something like that. Kind of just finishing off this doodle I've started on the train the other day, similar to the other one. Just got art builds the mind forever. That's what it's going to be at the bottom, forever. I can't really see it very well, but that's what it's going to be. This is just a fun little idea, just something I was thinking about, where when you actually create art, generating a footprint of where your imagination was expressing itself on a possible emotional level that was relevant to your time and space, especially in your opportunity of this universe, and it completely reflects everything. I mean, although subconsciously you're not really aware of what you're drawing sometimes or what kind of effect it will have, not just on the people who've seen it presently at the time, but also people who probably could even pick it up in the same time. I mean, you could even generate a picture that might get forgotten about, eventually being swept under a rug or blown away somewhere, put under a floorboard or something, and you never know, someone could rediscover it in 50 years time, get an idea from it, and then expand that idea and change the world. You never know when it could happen. But everything is sort of relation to the cosmetic control, basically, in the world. Cosmos control. And everything is relevant. Some things there will speed it up, some things will slow it down, obviously. Although I don't think it's any correlation to the Earth what speeds up and slows it down, because I don't think the Earth really feels much time. I think it's more in sequences. And our actions and stuff like that are just going in a sequence of what the Earth feels currently at the time. So when I generate this picture, the effect I think on me is that I think it's a satisfying effect of entertainment, and also of a reflection of the current talents or skill levels that I have developed from my childhood to this current point. If I leave it around, not really communicating to anyone with it, it will be a remaining symbol of my subconscious of what I previously did. That might affect me and wanting me, if it depends on my emotional attachment to it. If I was strongly attached to it, I would want to things that I would automatically start replicating it, so I might start doing things with skulls, colours, focusing on the words and stuff. If I didn't have an emotional bond with it really at all, I think the picture wouldn't really develop as it is developing now, and I would naturally just forget about it, and the consequences of it would be very little. But at the moment, I feel kind of strongly connected to it, so because I think it's a fun idea, and it's reflecting parts of me from my childhood and also of my current thoughts and mind. I mean, if a strong psychotherapist who can really read images and colours and pictures would be able to really determine exactly everything from a single picture that an artist creates, even if it's just so simple, you'd be able to identify everything that's going on with the person's life emotionally. And if you take it even further and deeper, you could also reflect how much archetypal collective unconscious ideas have seeped through the cultural filter. Oh, I don't know. But whatever, some pictures affect people in different ways. I wonder if there'd be some sort of art picture one time that could duplicate telepathy. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, I think it was Alex Gray who brought up the idea that he understood how in the war how images could really change people, how they actually feel about things, and how they could actually destroy and manipulate and things. So he tried to actually understand that the opposite of it would be trying to heal, which I firmly believe in. I think, and doing so could actually help other people realize certain thoughts and things about themselves. Which I found with music as well. If you have certain instrumental music that is designed to really be only propagated by experiencing the music itself firsthand, you'll find that the music will stimulate emotions of happiness, joy, on the correct kind of music that would heal naturally. So it'd be nice peaceful music or jazz or something you have emotional contact to. Those kind of musics will reflect kind of strong emotional ideas that were first brought to you when you're at a very young age. Same with art, basically, where if you maybe the cars and the skulls that I draw might reflect the sense of excitement that I once had when I was a child, and I'm still reflecting them now. Just, you never know. And so I could really change and manipulate how I want the effect of the art to actually be once I get hold of it. And I've seen some certain artists as well try to develop this into a mathematical formula for the art, where they would actually test the experiment of how people would actually feel. I mean, you could even consider people like Robert Williams, who's developed the lowbrow art. He wanted to push the social barrier to what people would actually tolerate, and bring out all sorts of interest in deep subconscious desires with people. So he included a lot of sexual graphic content and food and danger, intense moments, and this would naturally drive people towards a certain emotion of excitement and intensity and stuff, and bring them into all sorts of emotions and ideas where they weren't really comfortable with themselves and how they were actually feeling. So they discontinued the art at the start, but through gradual progression and the public discretion, it's gone right through. But still, art like that, it's kind of fun to think about how it can actually surpass on the same playing field as telepathy, where it goes beyond the normal conscious desire of judging it to start off with, but it's more of the subconscious kind of stimulant. Oh, is that coffee really strong? It's only 12 noon in the day, and my god, mine's already going wow. I kind of want to do a biomechanical design with this skull. And when I've actually relaxed my mind, because I've pre-programmed it to the intentional that I wanted, it's developing some sort of interesting mechanics. I can actually start seeing various patterns of it, such as these hydraulics, cogs with spikes on it, wires, nuts, bolts. It's interesting to see. Maybe if you pre-program your mind to see what it comes up with, do you think it'll come up with some interesting new ideas? You never know. I want to draw something happy and amazing and awesome. I wonder what happens when you relax your mind into a Zen pattern, what that will really develop. Will it be a sort of your own pre-designed telepathy kind of emotional state? Will you be able to communicate to yourself on an emotional level with the new picture you've made? Could it be a communicational device on a telepathy on another level for other people to enjoy? You never know. Just fun to think about while drawing. At least I think it's what normal people think about. Oh, you never know. So yeah, I mean, Rupert Sheldrake's got some interesting ideas, and I'll probably be speaking about some other ones that he has. And so I love talking about all these different people with cool ideas, but sometimes it's difficult because they're quite expansive on the ideas and what kind of ideas they have and various subjects, from memory, telepathy, morphogenic fields, biology, ethnobotany, psychedelics, consciousness, all sorts of fun things. There's so much to explore in the world and not enough time. Once you realize all these interesting ideas out there, you just realize there's not enough time in the world to even come close to your satisfaction of the ultimate idea. That's probably it for today, guys. If you want to see the finished picture of this, I'll probably finish it off camera. Maybe do a few bits here and there, won't be that much different. But yeah, if you liked it, just give it a thumbs up, you know. Check it out on Facebook and DeviantArt. I'll put it on Pinterest as well and a few other places. And you know, people like drawing doodles and stuff like that, you can give it a nice share or something on Facebook. If you want to see some more, you can subscribe and things. Checking all the links below as well. I'll probably have a few sheldrake links to just go and check them out and open your mind. I mean, I said before, it doesn't matter if these ideas are right or wrong, it just depends on opening your mind up to new ideas. Don't really give in to the dogma that's previously destined towards your education. No one is really smarter than you, and it doesn't matter if anyone has a better idea. Who's really saying they're better? Is it really better for you? You never know. Anyway, thanks for watching, and hope you have a nice day. Goodbye.